Greetings viewers, Eric the Car Guy here with an introduction to the video that you're about to watch, Dark Matter Pikachu on the Dyno. Now, you might be thinking, hey, last we saw a video about this thing, it was being assembled at the machine shop and you were just assembling the bottom end, putting the pistons in. Where's the missing parts, Eric? Well, unfortunately, we only allotted 2 days at the machine shop and that was not enough time to get this engine completely assembled, unfortunately. So we had to leave the job to Kevin and Justin, who did a fine job of the completion of the assembly of this engine. So I'm sorry we left that out, but it was not intentional at all. However, we are now at the point where the engine is assembled and we're testing it on a dynamometer. In fact, I'm about to cut over to UNOH, which is University of Northern Ohio, where they teach performance engine building and that type of thing. We will join Kevin Frische and his former student, Nate Mailhot, or as he's known to his students as Mr. Mailhot. And they will walk us through the process of putting Dark Matter Pikachu on the dyno to find out how much power it puts out. As you'll see in the video, it doesn't quite go as planned. But rest assured, by the end of the video, we will have this thing together and running and putting out some pretty impressive power numbers. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to turn you over to those fine gentlemen at UNOH right now. See ya. Why don't you guys tell us a little bit about the dyno and what we're going to do today? Just a little bit.
Instructor here at University of Northwestern Ohio. Been here about 10 years. I'm just facilitating the dyno run. Just here to help out.
He did a lot in setting this whole thing up off camera, just saying. And Kevin, of course, you had the contribution of, putting this whole thing together.
Well, yeah, I got to know Nate over the years, and a good friend of mine, and I could trust him to make sure everything went well.
Now I'm going to get these guys, or at least try to get these guys. I've been trying since we built this engine to get some prediction as far as what kind of power this would make. Same answer every time. That's the answer right there. Yours?
498.
498?
Yeah.
All right, there's the number. I'm looking for 5. We'll see what happens. Nate, tell us about the dyno.
It's a Superflow dyno, originally made by DTS. We're still using a DTS base operating, like the mechanical part. And then Superflow came over last year and they upgraded our box. And the data acquisition is awesome. It all runs through the box and then into the control room. You'll probably see the control room later. I mean, the thing is sweet. We have a gigantic water tank above us, and that supplies water to our brake. So this is a water brake dyno. There's a control valve on the top side and a control valve on the bottom side, and we're going to have to play with those later, and it just controls how much water enters and exits the brake to load the engine down. It's going to be a little tricky being turbo, but it'll work.
So we're loading the engine with water?
Yes. Yeah.
And how does the dyno actually measure the power output?
There's an RPM pickup. It's a magnetic pulse generator on this side of the dyno. So that's our RPM. There's a strain gauge right here. And we take torque times RPM divided by 5252 equals horsepower. So torque we're measuring and horsepower is calculated. We do recalibrate this dyno ever so often, and every time it's dead on. So calibration is never an issue.
Now you also mentioned that some dyno numbers that we might see in magazines or other publications might not necessarily be accurate. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Typically they're expanded by about 10%. There's an inertia factor that goes with every engine, and I can just crank that number up and make more power. About every time we run an engine on the engine dyno or chassis dyno, we're anywhere between 10 and 30% lower than everybody else is making. We have nothing to prove. So the numbers we make are true. If it hurts your feelings, oh well.
So in other words, the numbers that we'll be measuring on this engine today are true horsepower numbers, not something that's calculated by inertia.
Correct. It is absolute true numbers. We are not going to make them any bigger. It is what it is.
Thank you, Nate. Okay, Nate, what are we doing now?
We're going to go ahead and verify timing to make sure it's accurate, and then we're going to crank it over for oil pressure just to make sure everything's safe.
So before we actually fire this thing up for the first time, we want it to have oil pressure?
Yeah, he actually primed it back at the shop, but we just want to verify that we actually have pressure and we can record it. He also set the distributor in earlier, but we just want it to be dead on. We don't want it to backfire or pop or have any issues.
Definitely not. And Kevin, when you did the priming, like with a drill,
yes,
with the distributor out,
yes,
and just ran the oil pump that way?
Yes. That's how we did her with the gauge, and I think it had like 55, 60 just with the drill, but the oil was cold then, but it's a good indication and we'll be all right.
What weight oil were we running?
I think I put 2050 in.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah. It's a little low. It'll start there, but it's a little low.
Your man hands can't move it.
No, I can't. It's too tight. When we're cranking this over, there's actually 2 starters on the back side, and we have a switch, and we can choose either one. So if one dies, we go to the other. So we do not need a starter on any of our engines. There's actually a flex or a flywheel placed on the back, and the 2 starters are on the inside. They're actually old Ford starters.
So the starter we're hearing is not connected to the engine, it's connected to the dyno.
Correct, on the back side of the dyno.
Started a little bit.
Oh, I tightened it too tight.
Okay, that might be right. Go ahead.
What number
Probably
you
went the wrong way.
What number you look? What number are you looking for?
I was looking for about 12.
Yeah, this is
So-
advancing, so we're gonna go there.
Yeah.
Ready?
Go ahead. Back where it started. Now let's see where we're at.
You know, this drives me nuts because I can't
See in the carburetor. I can't see in the carburetor. Can I pull this off the side?
Yep, you're in there. And nothing's rolling in.
No.
Still it's high in the front.
Yeah, the pressure's a little low too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, we're gonna turn this up. The drop for some reason, we're only at 3 pounds.
It's what?
Only at 3 pounds.
Oh, okay.
Good, that's 6. Oh, that's we have a back.
Alright. Yeah.
Go down a little bit. Right there.
I've never screwed that
I
in.
know.
What are we doing?
Okay, right now we're gonna fire it up and check timing. We want to see what this triple advance does for us to check total timing. We want to make sure we don't have too much advance or just not enough. We just want to make sure it's dead on before we get started.
Because this distributor, we've gone around with distributors on this engine for a little bit. We finally ended up with one that has a mechanical advance. We were trying to verify its total timing.
Correct. So we have base timing at 12, and we're just gonna rev it up to 3,000 RPM or so, and just see what the total timing is at that time. So our retard box will then do its job.
Go higher.
Perfect. So it's dead on. 12 degrees base timing and a total of 32. We're good to go. What do you want to do first, Kevin? 25 to 35?
25, 45.
25 to 40.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh, yeah.
so we're going to do a 2,500 to 4,500 RPM pull.
Yeah.
It's called an Excel.
Does it not like that low or what?
Just doesn't like the boost. We'll trim down that timing retard. I think it's maybe retarding it too much at low RPM. It actually builds boost really quick.
Yeah, it does.
Had a lot of boost.
Yeah.
I cut it in half.
Put it on the halfway between
Yeah.
zero. Let's try pulling a little higher.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. It's either that or I was gonna get rid of the retards since we're not making that big of a pull.
It comes in. It's just going real lean, that's the problem.
Oh.
So I might just have to put a bigger jet in. Nope. 16s when we're coming into it.
Woo-wee.
More fuel.
Okay.
What are we doing?
Changing the jet. There was a 90 on the backside, so we went to a 96 actually.
And we did this because we started going lean.
We saw a lean spike. We were thinking it's fuel, but it's always safe to start with adding fuel. There is a 10 jet split between the front and rear because typically they run a power valve eliminator, and that makes up for 10 jet sizes. So there was an 80 in the front, a 90 in the rear. We're going to go 88 in the front just because we have a bunch of them, and 96 in the rear.
So would you say carburetors are difficult to tune?
Oh wow, that's a loaded question,
Isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they're too difficult to tune. If you get the basic concept of all the circuits and how they work, they're pretty simple. It's easier than a metering rod carburetor, that's for sure. And this does have annular discharge boosters. This is a very nice carburetor.
My annular discharge has got a series of holes all the way around the inside of the Venturi booster. So it sprays just like a aerosol pan effect. Very nice carburetor. I need that.
Where are we now?
UNOH. We're gonna fire it up. I'm gonna make sure the air fuel gauge is reading correctly even to start, just to make sure I didn't miss something. And then we're gonna do a pull and hopefully it comes out of it. At least if we can hear a change, we know if we're going in the right direction. It's there. So we're gonna do a pull, 35 to 4,500 RPM.
Do you like that better?
It seemed like the air fuel stayed richer longer, but it's still all of a sudden just going lean. Try it one more time. And I can't power past it either.
So we need to go richer?
Yeah, more fuel. Thanks. Bye. Keep an eye. We got to keep an eye on this fuel pressure to make sure it's rising, and we'll see what this boost is. We'll try this one more time. Just lean all around.
Now, was we actually at 7.8 on boost already?
If that's what the boost said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ramped in and out.
We need to dial that back.
We really can't.
Okay.
That's about that spring pressure. Let's take a look at it and make sure it's routed correctly and nothing came off. And when I flow through it, no air is passing by this to open our wastegate.
Oh, so you got to flip the other way?
Well, if I flip the other way, it doesn't work either because it comes out the side.
Oh.
So they're using some kind of Hobo Joe boost controller here, and I'm not 100% sure how it works. So we're going to figure it out.
Okay.
All right?
Hobo boost control. So what's the premise behind that boost controller? And what are you trying to figure out right now?
I'm trying to figure out how the air is passing through it, because we need actual manifold pressure to hit the wastegate. And if it's not hitting the wastegate won't open. And the purpose of this is to bleed some of that air to atmosphere to get more boost. So the problem is no air was hitting the wastegate to open it, so it was over boosting, causing our lean condition. So we figured out what was wrong, but now how do we fix it? And I figured out which way I can blow through it, but now I got to figure out when I screw this in and out, which one's going to let me bleed air, and then what port does it, because we have 4 options. Maybe that might work.
I think, yeah.
Because that's bleeding there now. And then if I turn it all the way in, hopefully it stops bleeding and it just passes through. There's nothing. Okay, so that goes from there to there when closed. And then when I open it, it goes out both. Okay, so we want the manifold pressure to come in here, the wastegate goes here, atmosphere goes there.
See, right now it doesn't have. Oh, it was negative.
Right now it's in a vacuum.
Well, that's
So-
okay. I got it wrong then.
Right, because that's based on pressure, and then vacuum is 2 times that amount, so it creates 15 inches of vacuum at idle. Coming into it.
See, it'll go to 0. Why did it go so lean though?
Down.
So what do we just do, Nate?
I'm eliminating the wastegate controller just to make sure it's not a player. So we have a problem, and I'm just going to take stuff out of the loop to make sure that it's not causing our problem.
And the problem is it keeps going lean,
Yes.
and there's no boost. Well, little boost.
Little boost, but when the boost is coming in, maybe we're not reading it right. I'm just not 100% sure.
Starts up good.
Runs great. This is going to control RPM. That means I can rev it up, and it will hold it at a certain point for me. It's going lean right there. See it?
So it's just at that certain point of the throttle it's going lean?
Right. When the secondaries are opening, we're not getting enough fuel. That's what it looks like to me. It's going lean. Boost is not spiking. It all looks pretty good. Our fuel pressure is rising with it. Should be higher. Right there, it just goes lean. So he's out there watching the sight glass to make sure it didn't drop.
There was fuel in the bowl the whole time, so we know it's not a carburetor issue.
What did we just see while we
Okay.
had it running?
Well, when we were running it on the dyno, I noticed that where it was backfiring and popping and going lean is when the secondary should open. So we came out here and we pulled the hat off, and I just wanted to make sure the secondary boosters were actually working. And there's a big stall between the primary and secondary side when fuel's coming through these boosters. So we're going to try non-progressive linkage, because you can see right now I open the primary and it takes forever for the secondaries to open. This area is our lean problem. So if we can get them both to open at the same time, we'll see if that'll cure our issue. So we're going to change this to the linkage. It's a little shorter.
Yeah.
Less than before, isn't it? But it still doesn't, it has a weird curve to it.
Oh yeah. Hey, there's extra holes here too.
I saw that.
What we can do with a straight one in a different hole?
the little back to the long one. Then it holds it open. That don't work.
That's too far? Well, one extreme to the other.
It is better. See how much further? I can go way over here.
Okay.
So it's lined up in front of the booster. Way back. It comes in a lot earlier. We'll give it a whirl.
Okay.
What was that?
Half throttle pull, just to see if it would run.
And?
It seemed to come to the
And
pull
you did
okay.
do a pull?
And as I accelerate, boost was coming in and it was kind of okay.
Should we put the controller back in now that we...
Well, the controller's only going to give us more boost.
Oh,
So we
okay.
really don't want any more. We need to leave it as low as possible.
Right.
And just try to get the fuel issue straightened out.
So we're still going a little bit lean, aren't we?
Yeah. I say we try cranking up the fuel pressure of the regulator just to make sure it's not affecting us any. And then we'll do one more run, and I'll just do a half throttle run, and then progressively going into throttle to see what the air fuel's doing.
Okay.
It's pretty lean.
So it goes way lean.
Yeah, we'll do a half throttle pull.
Then look at horsepower. What did it do? Yeah.
Nothing. I'll just check your oil pressure to make sure we're good. At least as it revs up.
It was rising, I thought.
Yeah, there it is. 60.2 and it stays steady.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try this.
Fuel pressure went up
Yeah.
to 9.
Yeah, and I just don't feel comfortable with the air fuel ratio. Bigger jets? Can't hurt anything.
Nope. Yeah.
Educated guess. More timing. This side of the breather, kind of normal. We can put a rack around it.
Well, it's popped out.
Oh, down. Rack. Oh, do we have these backwards? That'll do it when it goes backwards. When you go to higher RPM, it'll cut the RPM. Remember, I wonder.
Try it.
I wonder. We'll do one run with this timing, then we'll switch it and fire it up. Just seems like it's going lean. That's just what I see. Right, I'll turn it the other way.
So what are we trying now, Nate?
More fuel. Just gonna give it a whirl. Jets are big, but we're gonna go bigger. We're just looking for a change at this point in time. Like, is anything gonna affect how the run goes? The retarder timing affects it a little bit, but it's just too lean. So we'll see what happens.
Seems like the same problem.
Yes.
Let's get some lunch.
What are the plugs get to? Lunch is good.
Oh, they're like 25 to 30. Yeah, because I didn't want to put it on spark because I had too big of a gap.
All right, so now you're running it, no boost, no hat, just naturally aspirated.
We're fine.
That's so rich now.
It's not that. It's like an ignition system.
What was it doing?
Popping.
Yeah.
It's only in high 11s. Wasn't that rich?
Wow.
No.
That sounds more like an ignition system issue, and it's probably
Right.
accelerated with boost. So when boost hits it, could be blowing spark out or something. That seems ignition related.
Oh, so we need to pull plugs.
Yeah, we could pull the plugs and look at them, or just see if the box or the something that's ignition. You can hear it.
Okay.
You want me to do it again, and you can.
Yeah, do
Well,
it.
okay.
You can even hear it here. It's not
Yeah.
cleaning up.
Right.
Hear it?
I heard
We're
that.
not on all of them. Right now, we're not. Use the temp gauge. See what cylinder's out.
Yeah. Do I have too full of a plug?
What number's that?
It's a -8.
We're making sure we have a good ground, so since we had a Hobo Joe wastegate controller, we thought we'd add a ground to it.
Because the ground would make it so that the coil wasn't able to fire properly?
Right, and it could backbeat, messing up the trigger, causing an ignition system issue. We're just giving it a whirl.
Which we just pulled all the plugs, and they were all rich, so it's not a fuel delivery issue.
Correct, but yet it's going lean. And if you have a misfire, that unconsumed oxygen is going by in O2, giving the perception of lean, but it's actually a misfire causing it.
Mechanics Wire to the rescue.
Nope, that wasn't it.
All right.
Well, we tried.
Yep.
Still got that.
That's different though.
Yeah, it wasn't popping.
So you might be wondering about the missing scene here. Well, I was filming by myself. Brian wasn't available that day, and I was trying to help both Nate and Kevin figure this whole thing out. So I wasn't necessarily filming as much. But what we did off camera is we started messing with the firing order of the engine. The Ford 302 actually has two different firing orders depending upon what configuration you have, and we were trying just about anything we could to try to get the thing to run properly. So that's what happened off camera.
Oh, that's a dyno issue. It's popping again. But I switched 4 wires.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it runs like this. So it's definitely.
Maybe we got
And
number
look at
one.
the air fuel. It's perfect at idle now. Before it wasn't like that.
So you have the 351 Windsor firing order?
Mm-hmm. And it runs that good.
No, this is the old 302 firing
Old
order.
302?
Yeah.
Okay.
302.
The 1.5 number, not
Yeah,
the 1.3.
153 something or other.
So hold on. throttle pull.
Yeah.
Looks like it's still shows lean.
Okay, let's put that retard box back on there.
Should we check the timing again? It does like that firing order better.
It just seems to. I'm just gonna advance the distributor a good amount, and we're gonna try it and then retard it to make sure that the marks on the dampener are correct, with the firing order possibly being off or what else. We might be timing it at the wrong spot to even start. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So maybe our timing is off.
I'm just gonna poke and prod at it and just see if something else makes it better, or just because I.
Yeah, if you twist the distributor, then you'll know if it's timing. Would it start up that good though?
Yeah. If it's at like 0 instead of 12, you can start up really good and still have a really low-key idle. Just can't hurt anything. I put advance in it, probably about 10 degrees. That definitely made it worse.
Oh.
It seemed like it popped more and it sounded a little worse. So let's go the other way.
Float level looks a little high.
Okay.
Say we take a moment.
Okay. Let's do that.
Let's take a moment.
That sounds like two cylinders are backwards.
Popping. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you custom grind a Ford like a GM and have a cylinder swap? Do they do that on Fords? Like a 4.7? I almost want to rev it up like that and undo one wire at a time and see what cylinder is causing it. Because that's the strongest, hardest pop. That sounds just like you put a stock car together and you put two cylinders backwards.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Why don't we just recheck to make sure they're all routed correctly?
Yeah, but it sounds like it does back to the beginning. So if they are routed correctly, I would like to then just pull. We'll just yank one off at a time, ground it up. We'll just rev it up and see which one makes the pop go away.
But first, let's turn it off and eat lunch.
Eat lunch. I like lunch.
Well, we finally ate lunch.
Switch polarity back.
Yep.
That's ignition miss.
Oh yeah, all the way. Switch another part.
Yeah, yes. I thought we had it there for a second.
So did I.
Seeing better.
It did seem better.
What'd you do in this pool spot?
At least it's not going lean anymore. It's just misfiring real bad.
Right.
You need to find the source of that misfire. Got a water bottle?
We could. Just see if it's arcing through one of the wires. The water bottle's right there. Shut the lights off. Or you can just shut the lights off. Let's see if we can see something.
I don't see anything. Sorry, I was too busy focusing on the wires that we were spraying water onto, and I forgot to shoot it. Sorry. Still struggles.
Yep.
We just swapped the distributor.
Yes. We stopped
So
everything.
we've eliminated every single part of the ignition system.
Yes.
So it's something else.
Yes.
You go to 5?
I can't believe it.
Well, we hit 300.
We did.
And then horsepower's just like hanging
So
out.
wait a minute, what have we done?
We took the wastegate off to alleviate any back pressure theories, and we reduced jet size more to tune it like a naturally aspirated application to see what we get. And right now we're in the 11s, so we're going to put the wastegate back on it, we'll run it again, and then if it still runs well, we'll just shove the hat back on it and run it again.
Hat without the wastegate or hat
With.
with?
So wastegate first.
All right.
Cool.
That sounds kind of good.
Yep.
And I saw like somewhere in the 300s.
It's all over the place because we're still way too rich for a naturally aspirated application, but it's
Moving in a better direction where we're having an effect now.
yeah.
So it was fuel the whole time. We don't know. We
don't
changed. We changed too much stuff.
Yeah, we have no idea. We just know it runs.
So now what are you doing?
We're gonna do a small run, 2,500 to 3,500 RPM, and we're gonna see if it makes boost and doesn't break up. And if it runs well, then we can start putting the spark retard box back on and start putting one component back on at a time, making sure that it still runs. To prove the components to be good before you take them home.
Appreciate it. Leaned it way out.
Now we're back to our original condition. So it works great as the NA application. The problem is when we apply boost to that carburetor. So it did run fine to start.
So it's the carburetor?
Yeah. It's a fuel delivery supply issue. When we're applying pressure to it, for some reason, we're not getting what we want.
It's the latest theory.
Well, we're wondering if how the air is entering the carburetor, it's coming in and basically shearing the fuel off the booster, restricting fuel under boost. Because as an NA application, it runs great. But the minute we apply boost, it falls on its face. So, we just so happen to have one of these, compliments from another instructor, and we're going to give it a whirl. It actually takes the air and then faces it down into the carburetor, so maybe the boosters will do their job. Sounds like a good chance.
Plausible.
Plausible.
But I bet that's not going to be long enough. But that's okay. We can unthread it a little bit.
Yes,
Probably.
and I have the other half of that, because I cut it down yesterday.
And
Yeah,
once-
because that fuel comes in.
I was going to say, I wonder if you can
And it-
feel the fuel.
Yeah, I bet it shears right across it. And there's our pressure only supply for our fuel pressure regulator. Alright. Oh yeah. There it is. Do not buy one of those.
You're crap.
We didn't even get into boost yet.
Barely.
Yeah.
No, they didn't make any boost. We still have the boost reference going. Yeah. Wasn't under boost at all.
Hose came off.
Yeah. What came off?
Hose.
Oh.
Hey, hold on. There we go. Now we got boost. 6 pounds.
Clean.
Need more fuel.
Yep. Now we need more fuel.
Yes. 2,500 to 3,500. Hopefully we can finish the poll so we can log air fuels. $614 foot-pounds of torque.
What?
409 horsepower.
What? 680. What is that? 680.
613.
613 torque.
Yeah. 410 horsepower. But we're too lean.
Yeah.
We can pull a little bit further.
Can we try to go to 4? See how much more it's dropping.
See if it's gonna go rich or lean.
I know we ain't gonna be 10 jet sizes off though.
No.
And how much boost did we get?
We was
8 pounds.
Yeah.
So that was 8 pounds of boost.
That's pretty much what
That's-
you're gonna run.
we never hit 13.
470 horsepower and 620 foot-pounds of torque.
So
it's
I
still
haven't-
too lean. We need to go richer.
Yeah.
So I haven't broken 500 horse.
But you will,
You will.
because you're only at 4,000 RPM, and that rate of rise, you can say you're going from 3 to 400 in 1,000 RPM or so. So you'll probably go 460 to 5. What'd I say? 47.
Yeah.
You said somewhere around there. Yeah, somewhere around 5.5.
We went around 11.5. I'd say 4.
Because the typically the dyno is too when perfectly tuned on the dyno is too lean for drivability and other issues.
Right.
Okay.
So we want 11.5 or less.
So a little fatter,
Yeah,
Yeah.
4 jet sizes all the way around.
which would put us where on the jets.
He's 74 in the front and 84 in the back.
And we're not running that secondary power valve.
No, it's
No.
still blocked off.
It's still blocked
So
off.
so that one's still blocked off, and the linkage that we had where the secondaries open sooner, we still have.
We still have that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was a
We can,
benefit.
if we eliminate that, and it still runs well, it'll help with part throttle fuel economy.
If you're worried about part throttle fuel economy.
Figure it along.
I plan on driving this.
Right.
So I mean, I'm driving this.
So we can put the other linkage back on because we're pretty much putting everything back the way it was at 10 this
Yeah.
morning.
And I wouldn't mind ending up back where it was when Demon
Right.
sent it to us. I can't believe they'd be that far off. You
Right.
know, they wouldn't be in business if they was that far off out of the box. They got to know what they're doing.
Yeah, I
so
think they do.
we're just going to be ending up about 4 to 6 jet sizes leaner than it was out of the box.
Yeah. So far. Hey, what jet size are we?
We are at 74 and 84.
Okay, I'm just putting some notes in here. Since we're actually getting somewhere.
Yeah.
With a base timing of 12 degrees total of 32, and we have the retard set like on a 0.8.
Will you give me a printout of this?
Of the notes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean of the power curves and stuff.
Everything.
Yes.
Everything we're done.
Yes.
You can laminate it, put it on the fridge.
That's what I want to do. The heck with all that stuff my kids drew. That's a nice idle.
Yes.
I mean, if that's the idle, that's nice. And we haven't even messed with it.
That was beautiful.
Air fuels is nice.
Yeah. Okay, we'll pull it harder.
Yeah.
How about we spray some water on the intercooler?
During the run?
No, right now.
I want to do it during the run.
Yes. Yes.
556.
Yeah.
Oh my god. We're still going.
Oh, there was still more there.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Air fuel stayed real nice.
All
8 pounds of booze.
all because of that stupid hat.
Oh my goodness. You know you can take and put that hat.
625 foot-pounds of torque at 4,100.
Oh.
There's actually a calculator here for max.
So, and these numbers, like, if we were doing it on another dyno, this would be like 600 horsepower.
It'd be up 5 to 10% higher.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
But we're doing the actual horsepower. We're not adjusting and doing all this other BS.
I can even show you over here. What people will do is change this inertia factor, and if you make that bigger, you'll make more. You can see right here we have an inertia factor of 0.6, which is pretty much dead on for a small block. Do you want to spray it one more time, and then we will pull it to 55?
Okay.
We should probably check the actual temperature of the inlet and the outlet.
God, sweet. Oh,
574. It's still rising.
I know.
It looks like I was a little off. You might have a...
Whoa. Whoa. And that's at 8 pounds a boost.
8 pounds of
Yes.
boost.
That is like very streetable.
Extremely. That's... you have a... What was the compression ratio static? 9?
It was eight.
Yeah,
It was 8.9 to 1.
Yeah, so 8.9, that's about all you want on 93 octane.
Yeah.
The effective is 11-ish, 11 or 11.2 compression with 8 pounds. I think that's what it comes to. And 93 octane fuel with an aluminum head engine is good for about 11. If it was cast iron, it'd only be good for 10.5. But since you got aluminum heads on it, you're
So
in there.
we're right in the money.
Yes,
Literally
like
in the
the
money.
boost is perfect. The air fuel is good. I'd like to pull a little harder to find the peak. I want to just feel the intercooler, and then we're going to start dialing back your timing. Because if we can take some timing out and make the same power, we're going to. We want it as safe as possible.
Yeah, yeah. So we don't grenade it.
Right.
But damn.
Temp of cooler? Is that
Yeah,
what
okay.
So I mean, but what's my red line at this point?
We don't
on-
know.
We don't know.
Oh, we don't.
You have to go until horsepower falls. So the way it looks, you're probably going to peak around 58 is my guess.
58. So I could set my red line at 57
Or 6.
or 6. Set it at 6.
Probably right there. It's not hot at all. 100 degrees there, 90 degrees there. As long as you're below 130 on this side, you're in there.
And then it'll drop another 100 after the carburetor, right?
I don't know if it'll drop 100, but the temperature of the fuel going through the booster could effectively do that. It matters how much heat's in the manifold. You know, because the temperature of the engine is going to rise the temperature of the manifold. So during a run, as the fuel passes through it, it actually cools the manifold. It's 96 degrees right now, which is matching the outlet of the intercooler. Real close.
Awesome. All right, so what are we doing on this run?
I put a little more timing into it. There's a little controller for the MSD box that retards timing based on boost. We had it set around a 0.7, and it's a multiplier. So if you make 8 pounds of boost, it retards at 70% of your boost. I just dialed it back to like a 0.4, so it's gonna be 40% of the boost, which is about, what are we thinking, 3 degrees it's gonna take out?
So it takes out 3 degrees total,
Right.
with the total 8 pounds of boost.
Right, and I think this is what it's gonna like. Like, this is the number that I think it's gonna like the best. So it should pick up.
Why would you want to take out as much timing as you could?
I'm just taking some out to see if we have dramatic increases. It's a diminishing return. If we take timing, if we add timing to it, which is what I'm doing, and we gain very little, it's a diminishing return, and we're going to pull back.
Okay.
If we make a small change and have a dramatic increase, it liked it and it's safe.
So you're trying to find the safest, most power timing curve that you can.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it did not like it.
So we had it at a good spot before.
Right, now I'm going to back up further than we had it before and see if it rises.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to set it at a 1. Yep. It made 7 pounds of boost though.
It only made 7 pounds there?
Yeah, like 7 instead of,
So we didn't get our 8.
No.
So maybe the issue wasn't the timing, it was the boost?
Right, we'll pull it back once and we'll just see. You put it to a 1?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's lower there too. So
I think it's a temperature issue.
yes. So we really can't make a good determination.
So it's getting hotter in that room, which in essence is making it so the air that it's bringing in is not nearly as dense and therefore is not as much of it.
Right.
Right, because if I go back to 36, we just made 2 timing adjustments, and they're both about equal. Like, there's really no big.
So that's an air temperature issue, not a.
So it still makes that much power on a 1 ratio. We should probably just leave it there.
Yeah. It's very safe.
Right.
Especially if he wants to play around with that.
Right.
What if I want to add boost?
Yeah. You know you're gonna.
Right. And you know there's lack of oxygen because it's running a little richer than the first pull too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's up to 12 and the high 11s as opposed to lower 11s. And what you're looking for is the lower 11s?
Well, the other pull was an 11.5 all the way through.
Oh, okay.
And now we have less boost and a little richer. And it's richer because you have less oxygen to consume. So we could have a contaminated cell / temperature issue.
Maybe it's the oil fumes.
It could be. That'd make it richer.
Indeed. Well, we've certainly had a fun day at the dyno. We learned quite a few things that if you don't have the right hat for your carburetor, you're going to spend half a day trying to figure out why it's not working. Special thanks to Mr. Mailhot and Mr. Frische for their time today and helping getting this thing set up so that when we put it in the Fairmont, it's going to be spectacular, all kinds of awesome. Anything you need to add?
Tire burner, it's awesome.
Tire burner, it's awesome.
Yep.
I like that endorsement. Anyway, if you have automotive questions not covered in this video, please check the description for a link to EricTheCarGuy.com. Also, if you wish to connect with me socially, there's Google+, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Close each of my videos with be safe, have fun, stay dirty. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time when this is in the car, roasting tires.